What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 716 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland, where we are still champions of the world. That's right. We're talking more Eagles. We will never stop talking Eagles. We will talk Super Bowl. We will talk post-Super Bowl. We will talk all of it. We will get you ready for this big old fancy parade going down Broad Street on Friday. All of that. And we will get Harrison's initial thoughts because it's a Thursday episode, which means it's Thursdays with HK. I'm coming at you from Underground Studios. Harrison's coming at you via Bloomington, Indiana. We got all Eagles, all show. So gear up, strap in, keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times like you're Jalen Hurts riding the Tron roller coaster at Disney World. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It does go a long, long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps everyone find our entire network of podcasts, and a whole lot more stuff that we have planned coming up in the very near future that I know Harrison's very excited about, with a fun little YouTube series that we got planned in the works, which means you should subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel as well. YouTube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. So we hit that 1,000. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. And, of course, click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos, streams, clips are available to watch for your viewing pleasure. We are currently at 1,021 subscribers. Let's get to 1,100 by tip-off of March Madness. I think that's doable. So subscribe, leave a like on the video, and drop a comment in the comment section. This show is proudly presented by the City of Vineland, and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Harrison, first things first. We won the whole thing. We did the thing. We did the thing that we knew that we could do. And I find it no coinky dink that, early on this season, I was hosting shows by myself. And then waltzing on in comes our birthday, which was against the Bengals. You and I reconnect on life. You walk back in, and we go on a run.
It was written in the stars. And before we get into this, let me quote another Philadelphia legend, another world champion who had something very nice to say. World champions world fucking champions, Chase Utley. We fucking did it. I am still over the moon. Like you said earlier before we started recording this show, I've woken up every single day today happier than a clam.
So
It-
happy.
It's the greatest feeling in the world being a fan of a Super Bowl winning team. And
Oh,
this is the beauty of being alive during this run of Philadelphia Eagles football. And I wish previous generations of Eagles fans were around to experience this because for so long, for 58 years, we did not win a single title. 7 years, we win 2. That's unreal. That's something that Philadelphia fans of the 70s and the 80s would kill for. And we are so lucky to be alive at the same time as this Philadelphia Eagles team.
it feels so good waking up every morning knowing
Yeah.
that there's not a care in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Simple fact, because we're Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Like, I wake up and I have no stress. I have
Yeah.
no like anxiety. I
Yeah.
have no just like worries in my life
It's
because
beautiful.
every day for the next 365 plus days, I'm going to wake up as a fan of the defending Super Bowl champions. And let me tell
Yep.
you, it felt great in 2017, 2018. It
Yeah.
felt great. But that was the first time. And you're
Yeah.
appreciating it because it is the first time. And it's such a different range of widespread emotions because that is the first experience. You're celebrating it with your parents who clamored for that day. You know, I remember in 2018 just hugging my dad and we're both jumping up and down and crying because we finally witnessed a Super Bowl. I do the same with my mom, my sister, and my brother-in-law going crazy. This one, it just felt like vindication, and we've talked about it for weeks on weeks on weeks on this team outside of certain sectors of Philadelphia fans who knew this team had what it took to get
Yeah.
over the mountaintop. Just the vindication of seeing this team get what they deserve. They
Yeah.
earned this every step of the way. They were the best team in football. And just
Yep.
knowing that they went on the grandest stage and kicked the ever living piss out of the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions for the world to see. And when I say that, everyone, I mean it, because all of you bozos and you dipshits who said you were not going to watch the Super Bowl because it was these two teams, because it was going to be a boring matchup. No, we got the best two teams during the regular season
Yep.
clashing for a title with history on the line, with vengeance and vindication on the line. And 127.7 million people watched the Philadelphia Eagles beat the ever living piss out of the Kansas City Chiefs. And
Yep.
you can never take that away from us as Eagles fans. The most viewed Super Bowl of all time. And I'll say it until I'm blue in the face because it happens with multiple matchups involving the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles do numbies on the grand stage, whether it's Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, 4:25 on Fox, 1 o'clock on CBS, the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles get eyeballs on it because people want to prey on our downfall because they think Philly fans are scumbags, so they're hate watching. Fine. Fine. But guess what? We're not the Dallas Cowboys. We're
Yep.
not the San Francisco 49ers. We're not
Yep.
some of these teams that choke on the grand stage.
What?
2022, we kind of had it taken away from us with a call that, whatever. We got
What?
our licks back, 59 LIX. Shout out to the Super Bowl numbies. And we put on one of the most dominant performances you will ever see in a total team aspect, all three phases. It wasn't just the offense. It wasn't just the defense. It was not just the special teams. It was all three phases. And I'll even say a fourth phase because guess what? Newsflash, Nick Sirianni outcoached the ever-living fuck out of Andy Reid.
Yeah, he did. Every facet of that game was proof in the pudding that the Eagles were the best team in football this year. The defensive line is one of the top 5 defensive lines in history. I don't care. Argue with a wall. Nobody can tell me shit for the next year. I do not care. That offensive line might be the greatest offensive line of all time. Argue with a wall. Jalen Hurts is vindicated. Jalen Hurts is proven a winner, has been a winner his entire career, with 9 different offensive coordinators in 10 years, about to be 10 and 11 years, and he's still going to win. It doesn't matter. Saquon Barkley is the best running back in football. He got shut down on Sunday. It did not matter.
And kudos to Kellen Moore, not to cut you off, but kudos to Kellen Moore. Saquon ran the ball 25 times for 52 yards.
Yeah.
That is recipe begging your offensive coordinator to abandon the run. But guess what? Kellen Moore is such a good offensive coordinator. We'll talk about him a little later. I'm very happy for him. I wish him all the best in New Orleans. I hope, unless they're playing the Eagles.
Yeah.
But kudos to Kellen Moore in that situation where Saquon's not getting anything. And kudos to the Chiefs' run defense for stopping Saquon. He had his worst rushing performance of the season in the Super Bowl. Still had almost 100 all-purpose yards, though. But
broke the all-time rush record for a single season.
Correct, including the playoffs. So shout out to Saquon on that as well. But the fact that Kellen Moore never stopped running the football. They ran 25 times. They averaged 2.3 yards per carry with Saquon running the ball. You kept that Chiefs defense so goddamn honest that you got plays like the Jahan Dotson play. You got plays like the Devontae Smith fucking plays on loop in my brain until the day I'm dead.
Yep.
And even when I'm dead, it'll play on loop in my head. You get plays. I don't know if you've seen the mic'd up clip of the A.J. Brown touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this clip?
I think so. There's a lot of clips I've seen that are just bouncing around.
I saw it today from NFL Films. They're mic'd up. The play that AJ scores on that touchdown, the 2 tight ends were lined up on the wrong side of the line for what the play was supposed to be, and Saquon was lined up on the wrong side. But because the tight ends both go to the end zone, AJ Brown's on the side that Saquon was lined up on, which if you're looking at the screen, it's on your right, but it's technically the left.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, because that happens, is able to run that curl route, and he's left one-on-one because the defense tracks with the tight ends, and that allows A.J. to get a one-on-one matchup underneath and then cut up field off the curl route and score. Yeah. On a play that they were lined up incorrectly, they scored a touchdown. Like, that should not happen.
No, especially against the defense that has been so stout the entire season. But as you said, just keeping it on the ground, even though it wasn't working, kept them honest. And it kept them on their toes because you never know if Saquon's going to break off for that run because all it takes for Saquon is one opportunity.
And on top of that, that let Jalen run the ball effectively. Jalen, I said this on Monday's episode, Jalen had 3 or 4 runs of 10 yards or more in that game.
Jalen also broke his own Super Bowl rushing record, which is insane.
I love that he has that record. I love it.
I also do not want to hear anything from Cowboys fans ever again about how Dak Prescott is better than Jalen Hurts, because that is unequivocally false. Unequivocally false.
I want to play a game with you, Harrison. And this segment brought to you by our friends over at 47 Brand. We love 47 Brand here. They've got the sickest Super Bowl champion hats out now on their website. Go check it out. I have mine on the way right now. I'm very excited to don that thing until the end of time. Use our links in the description. Shop all of the Super Bowl champions headwear that they have. Shop all the Eagles gear. We got a lot of stuff planned that we're going to be incorporating 47 Brand into our content coming up as well. But the Super Bowl champions gear is phenomenal. The headwear, fantastic. Every king and queen needs a crown. Go get yours from 47 Brand. Use our links in the description. Get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family today. Again, shop the Super Bowl champions headwear from 47 Brand. Get free shipping on all orders when you use our links in the description. Shout out to 47 Brand. We love 47 Brand. I want to play a game with you, Harrison, because I think this is so much fun to kind of look at because of the way that this season has transpired.
All right.
I want to play a game where you tell me which quarterback you would rather have.
Okay.
It will be Jalen Hurts versus the field.
Okay.
And I'm going to go in order, and it's not going to be every quarterback because obviously there's some quarterbacks that it doesn't make sense for you to take them over Jalen Hurts. But
Yeah.
I'm looking at an NFL.com article right now where they were ranking quarterbacks, and this is from like early January. Jalen Hurts is ranked 16th. So we're going to go from 15 up, where the quarterbacks behind Jalen include Bo Nix, Tua, Dak Prescott, Drake May, CJ Stroud, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, Gardner Minshew, Will Levis, and the Browns quarterback who blew out his Achilles.
I'd rather
We're not
have
including them.
Yeah, like
100%. So Jalen Hurts is ranked 16th. I'm going to read you 15 up. You tell me if you'd rather have the field quarterback that I name you or Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts. Mind you, this article is from a little over a month ago. So that makes it all the more funny. So number 15, everybody's favorite Call of Duty player, Kyler Murray.
Jalen Hurts all day. That's not even a question.
Number 14, Bryce Young.
You know, I'm not gonna have to think about that. It's Jalen Hurts.
And I like Bryce Young, but that is crazy to put Bryce Young ahead of Jalen Hurts.
Batshit insane. All right.
This one's also batshit insane. Number 13, Brock Purdy.
They had Brock Purdy ahead of Jalen. Yeah, I think I'll take the quarterback who outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl twice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, give me Jalen Hurts.
Number 12, old man Matthew Stafford.
Great quarterback. Great dude. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Number 11, Jordan Love.
He's got a lot of upside. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Number 10, this might be worse than Bryce Young.
Oh, God.
Because of where he's placed and who it is. Geno Smith.
Geno Smith was at 10. Geno Smith, the Seattle Seahawks quarterback. Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
Okay, we can just move on. I don't need to say my answer to this one because you know my answer to this one. Just move on to 9.
Number 9, everyone's favorite social media quarterback, Justin Herbert.
You know, he's got a lot of upside too. He's a great young quarterback. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Number 8, hi-ho, Patrick Mahomes here.
Wait, they had Mahomes at 8?
Yes, this is rankings based on the regular season.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. You know, Patrick Mahomes, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. He's got a great career. Also, I hate him. Go Birds. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Number 7, Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels is a great young quarterback. We're going to be seeing him a lot in the years to come. The NFC East is going to run through Philadelphia and Washington for a long time now, and it's going to be a fun rivalry. I'm excited to have these games against each other. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Number 6, Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield was done so dirty by the Cleveland Browns. I still can't believe they traded him for the guy we won't mention because he's a piece of shit. And he was also done dirty by the Carolina Panthers, and he's been a thorn in our side multiple times. But, you know, give me Jalen Hurts.
Number 5, Sam Darnold.
Hurts, no question. Let's move on.
Number 4, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, punched way above his weight this year, and I got to give him credit where credit's due. I rock with the Lions. I think they're a fine team. I like Jared Goff. I think he's a good dude. You know, the Rams are looking more and more right for taking him over Carson Wentz every single year. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Number 3, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow had a hell of a year. He's still not a Super Bowl champion, though, so I'm going to have to take Jalen Hurts.
Number 2, Josh Allen.
The MVP, it's hard to not take the MVP, but how about I take the Super Bowl MVP instead? Give me Jalen Hurts.
And number 1, Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch in the NFL today. I love watching the Ravens every week. They're possibly my second favorite team to watch other than the Eagles because they're just so dynamic and fun, and it stems from him playing quarterback. But he doesn't show up in the big games. He does not. Give me Jalen Hurts. I'm taking Jalen Hurts over everybody in the league right now. That's what I'm saying.
I'm with you. With you. Like, Jalen just wins. That is his big, character trait. He wins. Lamar Jackson has not gotten to a Super Bowl in his career.
No.
Josh Allen has not gotten to a Super Bowl in his career. Now, granted, is it very similar to, Tom Brady blocking the Roethlisbergers and the Phillip Rivers and all of them during that era?
Manning.
Sure. Peyton Manning, yes. Burrow got to a Super Bowl and lost. The thing about the AFC, while Mahomes has dominated this era of AFC football, you saw on Super Bowl Sunday, you can have the flashy quarterbacks. You can have the Herberts and the Lamars and the Josh Allens and the Mahomeses and Trevor Lawrence and all of those AFC quarterbacks.
Yep.
What the AFC does not face on a week in and week out basis throughout the regular season are stalwart defenses like the Philadelphia Eagles, like the Los Angeles Rams, when they're healthy, like the San Francisco 49ers, like the Washington Commanders, like the Minnesota Vikings, like the Green Bay Packers.
The Detroit Lions when they're fully healthy.
The Lions when they're fully healthy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they're fully healthy. Those defenses do not exist in the AFC. The Chiefs have one of them, but the rest of those defenses that teams have to play against, the reason you see these high-scoring games in the AFC, they don't play fucking defense.
There's a reason the Bengals didn't make the playoffs this year. Sure, they're going out and giving you 35, 38 every game. They're allowing 40, 42 every game as well. It all comes down to the defense. And one of the things that I was hearing so much going into this week, because, out in Indiana, there's a good contingent of Eagles fans out here.
At your bar, there's a good number of Eagles fans there, which is awesome.
I got to celebrate with all of them on Sunday, and it was beautiful. But it's mainly Colts, Bears, Browns, those type of fan bases. And everybody was saying to me, the Eagles have the better team altogether, but I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. It's not the Mahomes show in the Super Bowl. And the Eagles proved that on the nationwide scale on Sunday. And, good for him. He got a couple garbage time touchdowns. He started showing up when it didn't matter anymore. The real final score of that game was 40-6. And I don't want to hear anything otherwise.
Can I read you one of the most hilarious lists I think I've ever seen in a long, long time? Can I read you the list of active NFL quarterbacks with a Super Bowl ring?
Yeah, read it to me.
Russell Wilson from 2013. Matthew Stafford, 2021, 2022 Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers.
Not active much longer.
Joe Flacco.
The New Jersey GOAT. Don't ever disrespect his name.
Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
But the other quarterback on this list, Kenny Pickett. Can I just say, Kenny Pickett has as many Super Bowl rings as Aaron Rodgers.
You know who Kenny Pickett also has more Super Bowl rings than? Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, the quarterbacks in Cleveland, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith,
The
Bryce
back
Young, Baker
Kurt,
Mayfield,
Justin
Justin
Fields.
Fields, all Sam Darnold,
Yep,
all of them.
all of them. And I gotta say, Steelers fans have got to be the second happiest fan base in the country right now because they're vindicated. Kenny Pickett has a Super Bowl ring.
Mike Tomlin drafted a Super Bowl champion.
Mike Tomlin drafted a Super Bowl champion. There we go. And
Like, that is going to be something I carry with me until it's
Yep.
changed. I will always throw out the fact that not only is Jalen Hurts, which we will talk more about Jalen, obviously.
oh, we got to talk.
We
have,
played backups in the Super Bowl, Harrison.
which is something so unheard of. I don't think I remember any time anywhere
In
where
my
Tom Brady
lifetime,
was pulled for what? Matt Castle?
never. I think
Like,
maybe the only other time was that Seattle defense against
yeah,
the
the
Broncos.
Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, okay, we want to talk about greatest defense of all time. They got to be up there. That Legion of Boom defense was
The 85 Bears,
God.
like, they were
85
great.
Bears, the Legion of Boom,
The
and then you
2000
gotta throw this
Ravens.
2000s Ravens, and then you've got to throw this Eagles defense
Mhm.
in that top five. You have to. What should their nickname be? Gangrene, but that's more Jets than anything.
Yeah. I did like that Milton Williams tweeted his photos and said Broad Street Bullies.
Bring back, honestly, I feel like Bobby Clark and Bernie Perrant and Dave the Hammer Schultz would be more than willing to pass that name down from the Flyers to the Eagles because they are the Broad Street Bullies. They were bullying that man, Patrick Mahomes.
Should call him the Nightmare on Broad Street.
Nightmare. No, that's better. Nightmare on Broad Street. That they were giving Patrick Mahomes fits, and they did not blitz a single goddamn time.
Yep.
They set 4 every time.
Now, it would be poetic because I don't know if you remember in 2023 when we lost Super Bowl 57, the Chiefs offensive line at their parade wore shirts that said 0 sacks because we did not get a single sack against Mahomes. It would be poetic if our defense wore shirts that said 0 blitz.
Ooh, that's better than 6 sacks. I want to see the 0 blitz.
0 blitzes.
And then, they can wear their Georgia Bulldog chains because, like,
so goddamn funny.
They are a bunch of bulldogs. They're not just dogs. They are bulldogs the way they were bulldozing over these weak-ass linemen. And they have one of the greatest linemen to ever do it in Joe Thuney. And he was a sheet of paper. He was a turnstile.
He's got to hate seeing the Eagles in the Super Bowl because he was on the Patriots in Super Bowl 52.
And this is the second time he's had his ass beat by us.
Second time he's had an opportunity to three-peat, and it got denied by the Eagles.
Yep. Go Birds, baby. We are the dynasty enders, and I want to just say this: our dynasty is starting. What time is it? It's 2:32 on a
Little
Thursday.
Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Time to rock and roll. Our dynasty starts right goddamn now. This Eagles team will win multiple Super Bowls. Clip this. I don't care. I will go on record as saying this is a team that can win 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls.
I like this stat too. Of active quarterbacks who have played in a Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts has the highest completion percentage of active quarterbacks in Super Bowl appearances.
Incredible. And
let
me pull up this other stat real quick. The Eagles are now one of 4 teams to win 18 games in a season. It's us, the 07 Patriots, who almost went undefeated, the 85 Bears, and the 84 Niners. That's
love it.
End of the list. No Mahomes. Brady on there only once. No Mannings. No Roethlisbergers. No Rodgers. No Favre. Jeez.
He's sneezing on the truth, everyone.
I'm sneezing on the truth. And it's because not only were the players on the field like that, the coaching staff was like that. Vic Fangio called the game of his life. And Nick Sirianni can shut all the haters up right now. That man is a proven winner. and he will win more with the Birds because he is the greatest coach that the Philadelphia Eagles have ever had,
Mm-hmm.
easily. And Jalen Hurts, we were talking about it before. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in franchise history. Argue with a goddamn wall.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Donovan McNabb can never get the job done. Randall Cunningham, trailblazer, could never get the job done. Mike Vick should have been MVP in 2010, 2011, one of those years. Never got the job done. Fuck Carson Wentz. I don't even want
Jaworski
to.
never got the job done.
Jaworski never got the job done. Nick Foles got the job done, but he
As a
wasn't.
backup.
He was a backup. Jalen Hurts started basically the entire year except for 2 games because he was hit by that down dirty son of a gun in Washington. And he won a Super Bowl as a starter, the first starter to do it for the Eagles. He's him. He's him.
You set me up perfectly for what I was telling you pre-show, that I had a take that clip this, KB, future KB, clip this. I was talking to my mom about this earlier today as we record this on Wednesday night. And I said, 2017 felt great because you win your first. I'll even fast forward. Future KB, clip this. Growing up, Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
You had amazing moments, but never got over the hump. You go to 4 straight NFC championship games. You go to 1 Super Bowl. You never come home with a trophy.
Yep.
Outside of NFC titles, obviously.
Yep.
And then you go back in 2008, don't get the job done.
Yep.
2017 was phenomenal because it was like a storybook, like Disney movie type feel. It was next man up. The backup quarterback who you drafted comes back after being sent away by the coach that came in prior and wins you your first franchise Super Bowl in franchise history. That felt like a different type of feel.
Yeah.
But it was also like cool, like moving forward, we have Carson Wentz, like we're going to be good to go. Like, and then you see how that transpires. I think I have woken up every day post Super Bowl 59 in this euphoric, happy, elated state of mind.
Yeah.
Not only because Jalen Hurts has shut up all the doubters and naysayers, but I think it's also knowing that the Philadelphia Eagles have their franchise quarterback for the next decade plus in Jalen Hurts. Carson Wentz, it felt like you had a franchise quarterback, but you didn't know because, growing up, Donovan McNabb was that guy.
Yep.
But again, never really delivered the ultimate prize. Carson Wentz carries you there, gets injured. It feels like you have a guy there, and then he's out, gets injured again. Foles comes in, and then it all kind of spirals out of control.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts comes in a moment of uncertainty, not only in the NFL, and I tweeted this, not only in the NFL, but in the world. He was drafted in April of 2020.
Yeah.
The height of global uncertainty. Comes in to a team that you think Carson Wentz, still the franchise guy, 2019, put together a solid season, whatever it may be, boom, boom. And now knowing that Jalen Hurts gets the job done, has been to 2 Super Bowls, has outplayed this generation's greatest quarterback of all time twice on the big stage, gets over the hump, is a Super Bowl MVP, has a Super Bowl next to his name now. Knowing that the Philadelphia Eagles have cemented their franchise quarterback that will carry the torch for this franchise into any battle for the next 10 years plus is the most calming, satisfying, and happy feeling I have had about the Philadelphia Eagles in such a long time. And it goes beyond winning this Super Bowl. It's the fact that Jalen Hurts not only wins, it's what he does for the community. It's what he does to connect with his teammates. It's how he connects with the fans. It's how he presents himself to the public and how stoic and just like poised and calm he is. And genuinely, you look up the word cool in the dictionary and it says see Jalen Hurts, and it's a picture of Jalen Hurts sitting in that hallway with the Lombardi trophy and a cigar in his mouth, just soaking in all of the hard work and everything he's had to overcome in his career. And I felt so good because I was like, let me see because everyone on Twitter has been going back and like finding their old tweets on draft night about being confused or angry that the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts. It was a reactionary thing. 2020, you thought you had Carson Wentz ready to go. I was so happy that it might be my most Hall of Fame take of all time, is that on episode 231 of this podcast, when we put it out on Twitter and we do our little rundown to kind of give you a preview of what's getting talked about on that episode, it was just me on the episode. It was post virtual draft. First thing, virtual draft rocked. Number 2, here's why the Jalen Hurts pick makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel so fucking smart and vindicated knowing that I have been in the trenches with this man from the moment the Eagles drafted him. And, everyone talking about, oh, if you have a number 2 Jalen Hurts jersey, which I would love to have. If anybody has a number 2 Jalen Hurts jersey and can send it my way, let me know. You deserve a Super Bowl ring. I'm not saying I deserve a Super Bowl ring for knowing I was right about Jalen Hurts from day one. But I will say, nobody can ever take that from me, that I understood the plan and the process with Jalen Hurts from day fucking one. And I feel so happy that I just believed in this guy from the moment we drafted him. And to have him as one of the all-time athletes and the all-time human beings to put on a Philadelphia sports jersey, it just feels so good that I've supported him from day one. And I know you guys, when you watch the Monday episodes, it's just me in a solo layout. And we have had Bryce Harper, Gritty, and Mike Scott as the athletes and fixtures of Philadelphia in that bottom corner, because Gritty was introduced year one of this podcast. Bryce Harper came in. It was a stoic moment for this podcast. Mike Scott, our guy through and through, will always be a moment in this podcast that connected us with the Sixers and made things happen for this podcast. I have been waiting to figure out what Philadelphia Eagle to put on there. Now remembering that I had that take, and now knowing that he's a Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl champion and just the best guy ever, I'm putting Jalen Hurts on that layout.
Yeah, I agree. And so last night I was closing up the bar, right? And I like to listen to some YouTube videos while I'm doing my thing. I found this great documentary on the 1990s Cowboys, which was a very interesting watch. And it had me start thinking, right? Jalen Hurts is our Troy Aikman without the controversies. This team is the equivalent of the 90s Cowboys without them being the absolute worst scum of the earth human beings you can possibly get to.
I also love, somebody brought up, like, in a similar vein, someone brought up, I forget who it was, so I apologize. It might have been Peter Schrager who brought it up. Andy Reid's had Steve Spagnuolo for all these years as defensive coordinator. Like, he's got Spags. Sirianni has his Spags now, and it's Vic Fangio.
Yeah. This team, I really feel like, can go on a generational run. Who's going to stop us from repeating next year? The Chiefs, we already blew them out the water. The Bills, we blew them out the water 2 years ago, or last year. The Ravens, we shut them down this year. There is nobody on the AFC side of the ball, in my humble opinion, that can stop this team. The only team that can stop the Eagles at this point is themselves if they let themselves get complacent, which we know for a fact they will not. A.J. Brown came out and said it so today. He said, I thought getting a Super Bowl would satisfy my hunger. It didn't. I want more. Jalen Hurts, we have not arrived at the destination yet. The destination is when we're all set, when everything's said and done. My cleats are hanging up, and my numbers in the rafters at Lincoln Financial Field, and my face is on a bust at Canton. Saquon's not satisfied. This was year one. He's breaking the rushing record next year. He's going for another 2,000-yard season. I feel it in my bones. This offensive line isn't done. Lane Johnson's probably going to come back for another run. He wants one more ring. Brandon Graham, he can retire on top now. He got his 15 years. He got his 2 rings. He is one of the greatest Eagles to ever lace him up for this team. He can retire a champion. Our defensive line, as much as he's a leader on that team, they will not be hurting without him. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton goddamn Williams have got
Resign
this.
him, please.
Re-sign him. Your 3 main priorities this offseason. Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, Milton Williams. Those 3 dudes have to come back, and I feel like they all will. They are guys that deserve what they are owed, and they love this city and this team. This city and team rejuvenated their love for the game. Mekhi Becton, what a story. He was treated as a bust, but that was because he was on the goddamn Jets. And the
And he
Jets
was
are
injured, and I think him coming to the Eagles was such a wake up call for his career too. And
yes,
I'm not slighting, anything that happened to him with the Jets. It was a weird situation.
yes,
He gets injured. He had issues with conditioning, and I think he would admit that. But I think
yeah.
Mekhi Becton coming here really renewed his lease on life in the NFL. And the fact that it was Nick Sirianni as well that suggested to put him at right guard, I thought he was some big dumb dipshit.
That's another big thing too. Moving players around. Like you move Zach Bond from an outside linebacker to an interior linebacker, and that changes the entire way he plays the game. Mekhi Becton, move him to right guard. Make that just works. And then you have Nolan Smith, who is the most violent dude on the field at any given time. He was straight smacking dickheads around on Sunday.
Did you
And
see the
he's the
post? He was in the locker room, celebrating with BG and pumping him on the chest and everything. And someone said, Nolan Smith is the guy that you need to know his location when Nuck If You Buck comes on the aux.
you hear the audio come on and you're like, oh shit, where's Nolan? And you find him outside just throwing hands with some dude who looked at him wrong. But Nolan Smith is Philadelphia. This entire defense is Philadelphia. Cooper DeJean, you said it earlier. In 9 months, there is going to be a boom of babies in Philadelphia, all named Cooper, because that was the moment we knew we won the Super Bowl. He is white boy of the goddamn century. He is him. He is him. He's not a safety. He's just a corner who locked down your number one. The gene is CB1.
Did you see he was on SportsCenter and Kevin Nagandi brought this up? Shout out to Kevin. He congratulated us on our podcast anniversary the other day. Did you see Cooper DeJean? He's second all time in scoring in basketball in the state of Iowa's history, only behind one person. Do you know who that one person is?
I gotta see who.
It's another NFL player.
Ooh, NFL. Hang on, let me take a look at the list here real quick. So I can possibly. Is it a Hawkinson?
Yep. TJ Hawkinson is number one. Cooper DeJean's number two. Cooper also 3 sport athlete: football, basketball, and he has a state title in track.
The dude is an immensely talented athlete, and he has been adopted by Philadelphia. He did it for all the small town kids, but he also did it for the city of Philadelphia, which is his new home and will be his home for the rest of his career. I feel it in my bones already.
Quinyon Mitchell got congratulated on the floor of Congress.
What?
One of the representatives from Ohio, one of the Democratic representatives from Ohio, asked the speaker or whatever it was. I'm not all that fluent with terminology in terms of all of that, but asked to address, Congress, and congratulated fellow Northeast Ohioan or wherever Toledo is and wherever Quinyon's from on winning the Super Bowl and making Toledo and Northeast Ohio proud and all of this. I was like, oh, we going congressional over here.
Yeah. And let me just talk about Q real quick, because this dude is real. He is as real as they
Don't forget that he could have gone to, I think, Alabama or Ohio State, and there was one other school, but he decided to stay at Toledo to be loyal.
Their guy. Yeah. And that's something that's huge in Philadelphia. Loyalty to the name. He was loyal to his college. He's gonna be loyal to the Birds. He the only reason he didn't win Defensive Rookie of the Year is because he wasn't doing anything too flashy. He wasn't getting picks. He wasn't getting touchdowns, but he was clamping down everybody's best receiver. It did not matter. You didn't see him on screen because that's the point of a cornerback. You don't want that ball thrown your way. You want to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to keep that wide receiver locked in the Quinyanamo Bay. And that's what it was. He is one of he could be one of the best secondary players that the city of Philadelphia ever sees. And I genuinely mean that.
I do have to bring this up because it made me like think about how silly my good pal and an underground OG Dominic Ponteri is.
Oh
He
boy.
was on social media talking about how CJ Gardner Johnson, who I love him to pieces,
Yes.
is better than Malcolm Jenkins was in an Eagles uniform. Now, here's my thing. They're great, and I say this all the time. I think I brought this up to you before too. We're so lucky that in our lifetime we went from Brian Dawkins to Malcolm Jenkins to CJ. Like teams don't get that type of generational talent era over era over era at such a key position like the safety position.
Yeah.
The thing that drove me nuts is somebody responded to Dom's tweet with the hit on Brandon Cooks in the Super Bowl and Dom said that all Malcolm brought was hard hitting. He wasn't the type of leader in the locker room that CJ is. Dom, buddy, I love you, but you're forgetting Malcolm Jenkins was a captain on this team his entire tenure as a Philadelphia Eagle. He was regarded as the second coming of Brian Dawkins on this team for his leadership, for his play on the field, for his activism in the community. Malcolm Jenkins will go down as one of the most stoic Eagles of all time, and he's one of the few players in NFL history. You know, it's more common in hockey or baseball or even basketball to be remembered for multiple teams.
Yeah.
It's rare to do that in football. Malcolm Jenkins will forever be a New Orleans Saints legend, and he will forever be a Philadelphia Eagles legend. That is not common. And it's rare that the Eagles have two of those guys because Reggie White's the same way.
Yeah. So when I think about leaders in the Philadelphia Eagles, right? I think of Brian Dawkins. I think of Jason Kelsey. I think of Brandon Graham. And I think of Malcolm goddamn Jenkins. He is one of the greatest leaders this team has ever known. He was in the middle of every huddle, hyping up his teammates, telling them what to do, where to go, how to live their best lives in order to succeed on the field. He is a legend in every sense of the word. And I love CJ. I love CJ. But Malcolm Jenkins, man, Malcolm Jenkins was just him. He was so goddamn oh, man. Now I gotta watch a highlight reel of Malcolm Jenkins.
I don't think we realize either that, you know, up until Zach McPherson had it for 2 years, we don't realize that like it was held off until needed use that 27 wasn't really all that utilized after Malcolm left to go back to
No, it
New
was
Orleans.
quasi-retired.
Like, and when Quinyon Mitchell was wearing a different number in training camp and then switched to 27, it was a big deal that it was like, oh, they're giving him 27. Like that has become a not retired number, but it's one of those numbers that you get when there is promise of success.
Exactly. And I can think of no better player to carry on Malcolm Jenkins' legacy than Quinyon Mitchell. I feel like when all is said and done at the end of Q's career, we might have to retire at 27, not only for Malcolm, but for Q as well.
I don't even think it'll be retired. I think there's two numbers on the Philadelphia Eagles that are this way. It's 27 and it's 58. Those
Yeah.
two numbers are, you have expectation for your career now because
Yeah.
of the players who came before you. Time to step up. And you look at 27, Malcolm Jenkins, I think underrated, not to the degree of Malcolm, but in our lifetime, Quentin Michael was a phenomenal player
Yeah.
and wore 27 extremely well. Zach McPherson wore it, but it was for 2 years. Um, you know, Malcolm has kind of set the precedent in the early go for number 27, and now
Yes.
Quinyon Mitchell wearing it to be like an oh shit number when you see that player wearing it. 58 is also the same way, because I'm going to read you in our lifetime the players to wear number 58. And the
All
player
right.
who's wearing it now makes a whole lot of sense because he deserves it. So in our
Mhm.
lifetime, it was Ike Reese.
Yeah.
Then it went to Trent Cole.
It's another player I cannot believe never won a Super Bowl.
Then it went to Jordan Hicks, Super Bowl champion.
World champion Jordan Hicks.
And then LJ Fort and Jannard Avery and Kyron Johnson wore it for a combined 8 games.
Did a lot
But
with
now
it.
the guy carrying the mantle deserves it, and I think is going to put it on another nuclear level, and that's Jalix Hunt.
Yeah.
Talk
Jalen.
about a
Oh,
player who
Jalen Hunt.
evolved over the course of the season. That is
That man,
Jalix Hunt.
I knew. Was he the guy who got the phone call and called Howie Big
What's
Pimpin'?
up, Big Pimpin'?
Yeah.
I just
No,
call him Big Pimpin' now.
Yeah.
I know he called Howie that, but Jalix Hunt's nickname in my brain, and I've been a huge Jalix Hunt guy, and he's
He's Big
very
Pimpin'.
active on social and like in the community. I want to get Jalix on this show. He's Big Pimpin'.
Yes. He evolved over the course of the season so well, and he had a phenomenal Super Bowl. This
1.5
kid is
sacks in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's going places. He's going places. And we have just such a tremendous depth of talent. The fact that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is our second choice at linebacker behind the Kobe Dean, and he still had a phenomenal playoffs. Like, and one more thing, the Trotter family, man. This
Man.
was not just for Trotter Jr. This was for Senior. And
And
watching him make
it was for Trot Jr.'s mom too. May she
Yeah.
rest in peace. Like
yeah,
those,
the
I cannot help but like get teary-eyed
yes.
seeing those photos, seeing the video from the special teams play where he makes the hit and then Trot Jr. hits the Axeman celebration. And then if you keep watching it, Jake Elliott gets headbutted into another planet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But
him hitting the axe. And then who was it on the defense who did the Trent Cole Hunter?
It might have been Jalix.
It might have been Jalix. But it was these callbacks to legendary Eagles of years past. It felt like a culmination of everything we've done, everything we've seen. And it's just like how I felt against the Minnesota Vikings in the 2018 NFC Championship game. Anybody could have gotten it on Sunday.
Yeah. Like
Anybody.
I've seen hypotheticals about, oh, if the Bills played in the Super Bowl, would the Eagles have won? If the Ravens played in the Super Bowl, yes. It would have been belt to ass no matter who it was. And like it's one of those things too, and we've talked about this a couple times on this show, just with like this era of Philly sports and them being in our age demo. Like when it finally hit and like the clock hit 0, not even when Devontae catches that touchdown that I still cannot get over how beautiful of a throw that was. Not even 3 minutes and some change left on the clock, and we're doing Gatorade baths. Not even backups coming in. Like when the clock hit 0, it hit me that like all this hard work for these guys who are in my age range paid off. And that's when I got like emotional to myself. Like I didn't necessarily cry, but I got like choked up and I was like, oh, I did. But I got like choked up at first because it was like, damn, like these guys put in so much work over the course of the year. And to reach that mountaintop was the coolest thing to watch, because it is the first time in our lifetime that your constituents in age, your peers in age for a team you root for, won a championship. And
Yep.
it's the guys like Jalen Hurts. It's the guys like AJ Brown. You know, I'm 31. I'll be 32 in October, but like Brandon Graham's not that much older than me. And it's very weird seeing BG's beard be that gray. Brother, get some Just for Men. Like, you're making me feel old.
No. He's rocking it. He's rocking it. He
He is, but it's weird
Hey,
because he's that close in age to me that I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
can't let this happen. But like seeing BG do it again, Lane Johnson, Jordan, like all these guys that are so close in age to us accomplish the ultimate goal of their, career path was such a cool feeling to experience.
Yes. And I want to touch on the anybody could have gotten it that night real quick. One of my good buddies is a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, right? He texted me the next day and he's like, "Yo, listen, I know I've been talking like all this smack, like, I think you're going to beat the Chiefs, but you never would have beaten the Bills. You absolutely would have beaten the brakes off the Bills. There was no team in the NFL that would have beaten this Eagles squad that night. There, I genuinely think there's no team in the history of football that would have beaten the Eagles on Sunday, February 9th. You could have had the Tom Brady Patriots, the Joe Montana 49ers, the 85 Bears, any of those teams. And I don't want to talk about like conferences like AFC versus NFC. I'm just talking the great teams of NFL history. They all would have gone out there and gotten belt to ass by this Eagles team. I really
Yeah.
think this might be time is going to look very favorably on this Eagles squad. As of right now, they are a top 5 Super Bowl team of all time. I think in a couple of years, the argument will be top 3. And then in a few more years, it'll be they are the greatest Super Bowl team of all time.
Yeah.
Time
I
will tell,
mean,
but man,
looking at I'm gonna pull up the list of Super Bowl champions and kind of just compare a little bit of just our lifetime. I'm not talking about, the 80s and all that. Like, they were great in their own right. It's a different era of football now.
yeah,
So like I'll say of this millennium, of the 2000s,
yeah,
you had the Greatest Show on Turf, great
yeah.
team. You had the 2000 Ravens, who just bullied the Giants and won 34
Now
to 7.
that game would have been really fun. The Eagles versus that Ravens. I think that would have been a fun game, and I think the Eagles edge out the victory there. But it would be a great game.
You had Brady's first team, which is regarded as probably the weakest of his Super Bowl teams outside of the
Yeah.
Super Bowl 53 team that won 13-3.
It was such a fun game.
You have the Buccaneers, who beat us to shut down
Yep.
the link. You have the Brady Patriots that beat the Panthers. You have the Brady Patriots that beat the Eagles. You have the
Yep.
05 Steelers, which was Big Ben's rookie year. You have the Colts, who beat the Bears in Manning's Super Bowl. You have the Giants, who took down the undefeated Patriots. You have the Steelers, who beat the Cardinals in 08. You have the Saints, who beat the Colts in 09 season. The Packers, Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl. The Giants again, who beat the Patriots. The Harbaugh Bowl, where the Ravens beat the 49ers. The Seahawks, who beat the Broncos. The Patriots, who beat the Seahawks. The Broncos, who beat the Panthers 28-3. 41-33, Super Bowl 52. One of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. Patriots beat the Rams. Chiefs beat the 49ers. Buccaneers beat the Chiefs. Rams beat the Bengals. Chiefs beat the Eagles. Chiefs beat the 49ers in overtime. Eagles beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think
Of
we
the
beat
2000s, it's wild to me that 2 of the greatest Super Bowls, just in terms of games, actually, honestly, 3 of the greatest Super Bowls of the 2000s involve the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. And let's take a look at the scores we lost those Super Bowls by. We lost them by a combined 6 points,
Yep.
3 in each of those. And then we get Patrick Mahomes again, and we know how to play him this time. And what do? Belt to ass, just whooping him up and down the field. Again, in my head, this game is 40-6 because those garbage time
Oh yeah.
touchdowns they don't count. That was
Nothing counts. Nothing counts after the Gatorade.
yeah. Like we threw the Gatorade on Sirianni with 3 minutes left in the game. That is bonkers, bananas, batshit insane.
Oh, I love
Insane.
it. I love it. I love it.
My favorite part about that Gatorade shower was the little sneak and turn by Devontae and AJ. They were like, "Oh shit, he's looking, buddy. Okay, go now."
So, and the go
And
now was curated by Saquon.
yeah, and it's so fitting that we went with the yellow, the lime green. It was great. In the context of that situation, you can argue the semantics all you want. That was green Gatorade. It's Eagles green.
Yeah, I
And also
love
the best
that.
flavor of Gatorade out there, in my opinion. Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there.
I do want to bring this up. Before I do, I want to talk to everybody about our friends over at FOCO, the leaders in forever collectibles. Guys, you saw the Eagles offensive line on Jimmy Fallon rocking those overalls. Guess what? Those are FOCO. You guys can get your Eagles overalls. You can get your Eagles velour tracksuits, your Eagles championship gear from our friends at FOCO. They're truly the best. They're the leaders in forever collectibles. Use our link in the description. Shop all the Eagles gear with our friends at FOCO and upgrade your forever collectibles today. We got our I'll actually pull this up, Harrison, because it came in the mail.
Oh,
Our Brian Dawkins Bobble Doubles has
ooh,
arrived. The box has the Dawkins nameplate on the back too, which is sweet.
that's so
Love it.
cool.
We love FOCO.
We do love FOCO.
So yeah, shop all of the forever collectibles with the Eagles using our link in the description, and shout out to FOCO for being a proud partner of the podcast. I want to talk about Kellen Moore real quick because
Yes,
it's
yes.
phenomenal job. Like, unloaded the clip in this game was fantastic. Great game plan from Kellen Moore. I wish him nothing but the best in New Orleans unless they're playing the Eagles. But
Absolutely.
it is so goddamn fascinating to me that Kellen Moore was able to do what he did and perform the way he did as an offensive coordinator, as a play caller on the biggest stage. His performance just tells me how dog shit Jonathan Gannon was at his job.
Oh my god, don't even get me started. Like, so I'm not gonna shit on Shane Steichen because he did have a good year with the Eagles when he was calling the
He was
plays.
great. He had a
He was
great
great.
Super Bowl too. The Eagles scored 35 points in that Super Bowl.
Yeah. I am absolutely gonna shit on Jonathan Gannon though, real quick.
I hate that
There's
motherfucker.
We would have won that game if he schemed just an iota better. Like, just the
We
tiniest
led the
little
NFL in stacks the entire year and did not get one that entire game.
yes.
And it's so vindicating that we win this game to kind of just like release those demons.
With our
But
forever BC now.
Kellen
He
Moore doing what he did, knowing that he was lining up to be a head coach in just a few short days,
and he
just
still put on a
showcases and highlights how awful Jonathan Gannon is at his job.
yes, because Jonathan Gannon knew he was taking a head coaching game, and it was just like, "All right, Imma phone it in. Our
And
defense
was
can do whatever."
funny you said phone it in because he was talking to the team when he shouldn't have been talking to the Cardinals right
Yep,
before the Super Bowl.
yep. And meanwhile, Kellen Moore's like, "You know what? I'll have my interview in the week before the week, building up to Super Bowl week so that I can get this out of the way, and then now my entire focus is on getting that hardware." And you could tell that he was dialed the hell in. He was like, I saw what happened to Jonathan Gannon and Eagles fans after he departed. I want to leave the Eagles fans on good terms. I want to leave knowing that I did everything I could to bring a title to a city that loves this team more than basically everything else. In Philadelphia, it goes family, the birds.
Yeah.
And friends is counted in family, but it's like family, the birds. 1-2. And it's a close 2. It's a very close 2.
And the funny part is, like, Kellen Moore will come back to Philadelphia as the head coach of the Saints whenever that is.
And he'll get a
He'll
standing
get
ovation.
applauded.
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon, anytime the Cardinals come to Philadelphia, that motherfucker is getting booed to shit. Like, it's so funny how that
Yes.
transpired, and history repeated itself in the same city that this coach gets hired to go and coach for the Super Bowl location that we're in, and just polar opposite. And if he was just one iota more dialed in, the Eagles are talking about 2 Super Bowls in 3 years.
Yep. And the three-peat never even comes into question for the Chiefs.
No. But again, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. We hired Chip Kelly, and that led to Doug Peterson, and that led to our first Super Bowl. Then Carson Wentz turns into a bum and gets Doug Peterson fired, and then that turns into Carson Wentz being forced out the door because Jalen Hurts is him. And now Jalen Hurts takes over, and we lose Super Bowl 57 in heartbreaking fashion. And speaking of Super Bowl 57, James Bradbury, collect your ring, my man. You deserve it.
Oh, 100%. Like, all the stories coming out about James Bradbury, like how he was coaching up the DBs all season while he was out injured, and what a class individual.
Yes.
And again, thank you, Giants. Thank you, Giants.
I don't want to hear anybody in the Philadelphia region ever talk smack on my man James Bradbury ever again, and I don't think anybody ever will. Because it was a weak call. We get it. Like, it was on him, but it wasn't on him, you know? Like,
And
that's a call you don't make.
The more I look back on this game too, the more I looking back at it transpiring. You know how in 2017, the Patriots run out to Crazy Train, and it's like, oh, this is corny, and the Eagles come out to Meek Mill, and it's like, oh, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap, yeah.
The Chiefs running out to that racist Native American chant that they always come out to, the chop song that should be banned.
Yeah.
And then us running out, you can't even hear what we're running out to because it was so much of an Eagles home crowd. We ran out to DMX, What's My Name? Which I could vaguely hear DMX rapping underneath, but the Fox audio was so shit that
Also,
you couldn't tell.
Can we talk about that stupid goddamn score bug real quick?
We'll talk about that for sure. But once I confirmed that it was DMX, I was like, oh, it's over. You're not losing to a team that's running out of the Super Bowl tunnel to DMX.
And let's not lie, that was not the Superdome on Sunday. That was Lincoln Financial Field.
Did you hear it? Well, I forget who said it. It might have been Brooks Cabina, who covers the Eagles for The Athletic. He said, "This is Lincoln Financial Field with a lid."
Yeah, so it's even louder. I didn't think it'd be possible, but it's even louder. And when I saw that the Chiefs were getting the hell booed out of them as they were running onto the field, I was like, okay, I like where this is going. Let's see how the Eagles run out. And when I couldn't hear the DMX song going in the background, I was like,
I was stunned.
Oh, it's over.
I don't remember a Super Bowl ever like that.
Yeah, shout out to Declan. Shout out to Declan.
Facts. King.
Great job, kid. You did a hell of a job introducing the team. And again, shout out Bradley Cooper for just being a stand-up hell of a guy.
That was redemption for Bradley Cooper, I'll say, because he did the hype video. And I gotta say, it was a little monotone. I didn't necessarily get too. It was a great video, but he could have had a little more oomph. But he definitely redeemed himself with that introduction. I love Bradley Cooper as well. That's no slight. I just think there could have been a little more pizzazz in the hype video, but he redeemed himself with the intro.
And if we want to talk about celebrity Eagles fans, let's talk about one of the funniest dudes on the planet, Kevin Hart, buying another Eagle, naming it Saquon, and then freaking out every single time it flaps its wings behind him in the video.
Can we discuss the fact that we on Super Bowl Sunday found out we have a new member to claim for Philadelphia Eagles fandom in Anne Hathaway.
Shout out Anne Hathaway. You are always welcome in Philadelphia.
The Princess of Genovia is an
that's
Eagles fan.
welcome the delegation. You are welcome and every single week.
Now, I
Welcome.
did find out why she's an Eagles fan, and it's fascinating. Her maternal grandfather, I believe, one of her grandfathers, was like an OG WIP host.
Really?
Like an early days of WIP host back in the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
And apparently, like, a few of my followers on Twitter have talked about how, like, they've been down in, like, Cape May and, like, drank with Anne Hathaway's parents at the bar. And, like, her dad is very much, like, chill, down to earth, like, run the damn ball type of dad.
Yeah, run the damn ball.
So to see Anne Hathaway being an Eagles fan was one of the goddamn coolest fucking things ever. And now joining my white whale list of podcast guests for this show is Anne Hathaway.
Please, Anne, please come join us. You can talk about the Odyssey that you're about to film with Christopher Nolan. And you got to bring a little bit of Philly swag with you when you're going on set there.
Yeah, her maternal grandfather, Joe McCauley, was one of Philadelphia's most celebrated radio personalities from 1941 through 1968. McCauley was nicknamed the city's morning mayor and was a WIP host who had the likes of Frank Sinatra call into his show.
Wow. Wow.
So yes, Anne Hathaway is now on my bucket list of guests to have on this show one day. So Anne, if your team, if you are somehow stumbling upon this, we would love to have you on the show. I've loved Anne Hathaway forever. Like, obviously, Princess Diaries was like early introduction, but like when you look at Anne Hathaway's like catalog of movies and things that she has been in, it's like next level. Devil Wears Prada. Obviously, like you said, she's gonna be in the Odyssey. Like, she's a rock star. And I don't think we talk about how talented Anne Hathaway is enough. Dark Knight Rises, obviously, is Catwoman. She's in Les Mis, for crying out loud. Like,
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway is iconic. And like Interstellar, she was in. I really want Anne Hathaway to come on this podcast one day. And if we can make that happen somehow, some way, talk a little birds, talk a little Hollywood.
Yeah.
I would genuinely like levitate to a higher plane simply because I've been such a big Anne Hathaway fan from her movies and everything since I was a kid. Like, yes, I was that boy who had a younger sister. So Princess Diaries was on and that shit rocked. Fucking Devil Wears Prada, banger of a movie. Like,
yeah,
Anne Hathaway rocks. Like, she was in Hoodwinked, one of the funniest underrated animated movies of all time.
Hoodwinked. Okay, one of my friends. I waited way too long to watch it because when I was younger, I was just like, "This looks stupid. I'm not going to watch it." And I was in my sophomore or junior year here at IU when I saw it for the first time, and when I tell you, I was falling out of my seat laughing. I'm not kidding. It's hilarious.
The clip that everyone knows, Dinamite.
Oh yeah,
I piss myself every time I watch that shit. That movie's so fun. I love Anne Hathaway. If we can get her on this show somehow, like, I would be in my glory.
Please.
But like, it truly, like, pure domination. And I think also, like I said, like, we're so vindicated from this Super Bowl, from the constant belittling. And I talked about this on Monday's show a little bit too, and I was just like over the moon and in a state of euphoria right after the game when I recorded. The vindication of knowing we were right about this team and knowing that they had what it took to win, and everyone just finding new excuses and new ways to downplay what this team was capable of. I brought it up to you before we started recording earlier today. And shout out to Key, Real Mama Eagle on Twitter, brings it up all the time. The Eagles never lost a game this year that both Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown started and finished.
Yeah. That is such an insane stat that just makes me wonder, what if AJ was healthy the whole year? What if Jalen
Which
was healthy?
also just makes it funny because everyone was trying to pin those two against each other.
No, they are best friends. They are best friends.
They're
and
literal family. Like,
yes,
Jalen
what
is
Jalen
AJ's
yeah, daughter's
daughter's godfather.
brother. Yeah. The family argues. Family bickers. They are still family at the end of the day. They are ride or die for each other. And yeah, they're gonna push each other to be better. And that involves, maybe a slight shot here or there. Like, yeah, what could be better? Passing. Okay, let's work on that. Like, they work together to make this team succeed. We do not have the Super Bowl without Jalen Hurts. We do not have the Super Bowl without AJ Brown. They are two of the most important members of this team. And as Jalen Hurts said on Sunday to Saquon Barkley, you were the missing piece.
Mm-hmm.
You were what we needed.
Dude, the mic'd ups and every photo that comes out from this Super Bowl is just so magical. Like, shout out to every photographer. Like,
Oh,
every photo that drops of Jalen Hurts, I am in awe of. From the picture of him staring at the Lombardi, to the picture of him and Sirianni with the Lombardi, to the
yeah.
overhead shot with the spotlight on him as he walks through the confetti, to the picture of
greatest
him in the
photos.
hallway, obviously,
Yeah.
with the cigar in mouth and the Lombardi at his feet, to just every photo that drops. My jaw is just on the ground every time, and I save every single one of them. And it is just so amazing at how just like incredible this team is in so many facets that it also bleeds into they are the most photogenic team in the NFL.
Again, I say this as a straight man, fully secure in my sexuality. Jalen Hurts is the most handsome man in the NFL, hands down.
He's one of the most handsome human beings alive.
Absolutely. Like, I keep going back to this list that some lady made on Twitter a few years back. It was like the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL. She had Jalen at like what, 10th, 11th?
Something insane.
That's gotta be racist. That's gotta be racist.
When you have Rhett and Link, who I love and look up to so much, talking about the most handsome player in the NFL is Jalen Hurts. Like, now that
Yeah.
Jalen, and I know, like, Jalen Hurts needs to get some sleep. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
they are parading that boy around the United States like no other.
he
needs
was
a
in
nap.
New Orleans, then he was in Florida, then he was in New York, and he's probably gonna be in Philadelphia tomorrow. And
Yeah, that boy needs a nap.
get
I just see Jalen Hurts and I want to Photoshop his face on that Vine with the girl where she's like, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna take a nap right here. Good night. That's Jalen Hurts' inner monologue right now.
No,
but
this man,
because Jalen Hurts is regarded by Rhett and Link as the most handsome, like, I need Jalen Hurts on an episode of Good Mythical Morning.
Dude, and just get him on a taste test. Get him on one of the taste test episodes.
I just need him on something.
Will it be steak?
I just need Jalen on Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link so bad, or on like Last Meals with Josh, who Josh is an Eagles fan, so that would be probably one of the greatest moments of Josh's like career. But we need Jalen there.
Combust. I think he would straight up. I would. I would reduce to nothingness.
I
just
need
being in the
him.
mere presence of a god amongst men.
I need him at Mythical Entertainment for an episode because it would just be unreal. Yes. I have a fun question for you. Who is the most likely Eagle from this team? I have two in mind. Now that they've won the Super Bowl, to appear on Hot Ones.
Ooh.
I have two in mind.
Then I'm going to give you two, too. I'm going to say Saquon or Mailata.
Those were my exact two.
They make sense. They make sense.
I could also see Lane Johnson on Hot Ones as well.
I could see Lane on Hot Ones as
Those
well.
three have the personality, the
Yes.
draw, and
Yes.
like the interviewability, if that's even a word, to be
And
on that show.
why not all three? Why not just get the entire Eagles offensive line and Saquon together?
Oh yeah. That I mean,
Eh,
they've done. Who was it? Was it NSYNC
yeah,
or the
yeah.
Backstreet Boys? One of the
Just
two.
let the boy bands.
They went on together.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I'm
Sean Evans, if you're listening to this, you need to get the Eagles offensive line and Saquon Barkley on Hot Ones.
what I'm picturing is they got all the way up to the last stab, right? And all the offensive line try it first, and they could just go, Jail or Saquon, don't do it. Don't do it. We're gonna protect you from this. We're gonna do our job. We're gonna protect you from the hottest the
My
hot sauce.
Lotta on a solo episode would be fantastic.
Oh, because the stories he would be able to tell.
Ugh.
Everything I hear about this man just makes me like him more. He might be one of the most likable players in Philadelphia history, and that's saying a lot because there have been
That
some
is
damn
the
likable
move.
players in Philadelphia.
I could see Saquon, I could see I could see Lane Johnson, but I do like the thought of the entire offensive line and Saquon being on at the same time.
Yes.
But I think it's inevitable for us to get like that's got now that Sean Evans owns Hot Ones, like he bought it back and he's one of the
Yeah.
sole owners of it, and there's investors in the show. He's got to make it so that he gets the Super Bowl team and like the winning sports teams champions on that show.
I mean, we've already had one Philly athlete go on there and Joe, so like why not
Yeah,
the entire offensive line?
I think, and a former Philadelphia athlete, I think Jimmy Butler did it as well.
I think you're right. Well, I don't know
Yeah,
why,
he
but I
did it.
really
He did in 2019, which he
yeah.
was on the Sixers then, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was because that was the year that we don't want to talk about because a certain large-handed individual from a country that's or playing in a country that's not the United States hit a very questionable shot that ruined the entire Sixers franchise.
Yeah. Was there
That is
anyone else?
that I can say without a doubt that that shot was the pinpoint of the end of the Sixers.
Yeah, but we don't need to talk about them.
But no.
Yeah, I think
Happy.
it's just those two. So yeah, we need the Eagles to get on Hot Ones because that would just
Yeah,
do wonders
no.
for my mental health, even though my mental health is through the roof right now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Depression. What's that? What's that? Anxiety? I don't know. I don't know them. I don't know them.
the parade is coming up on Friday, and our
This
parade
sounds back
breakdown
home.
is brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Enjoy some Kenny's. This is Kenwood Beer's first parade. Go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder. It's 4.1% ABV, just 120 calories, 8 grams of carbs. Celebrate responsibly at the parade with Kenwood Beer. It is the beer of love, Valentine's Day. Enjoy it with an ice cold Kenny. Go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder. See who's got it on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Pittsburgh areas. You can also get it at your local liquor stores in those markets. Again, kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so, and please celebrate responsibly. Parade's coming up on Friday. I do like that Philadelphia Pro Sports parades are falling on holidays typically.
Yeah.
Obviously, 2008 was Halloween. This one will be Valentine's Day. And the 2017 parade happened on February 9th, 2018, which was the date 7 years later that we win the Super Bowl.
Fitting.
I am very excited. I will be there. I believe Casey and Owen will be there as well. From our Christian will also be there. So we'll have a bunch of people at different points of the parade.
I'll be streaming it at work in Indiana.
When we're all there, I might try to text all of them and try to get footage from their vantage points of the parade.
Yeah.
I will be down by the stadiums at the beginning of the parade. I think that is just as fun as the ending at the art museum because you enjoy the parade. You see everybody at the beginning. The juices are flowing. and then you're able to skedaddle out of there and go watch the full-fledged everything on TV from the comfort of your own home.
Yep.
Remembering what the 2018 parade was like, and I brought my camera with me. I'll be doing the same thing on Friday. The photos I got from that parade were insane. I have a picture of Jason Kelce in the Mummers outfit riding on a bike right in front of me. Pictures of
Hell
Lane Johnson, Alshon Jeffrey, the parade buses with Foles, Wentz, Doug Peterson, everybody. Like, if you have a camera and you have any sort of semblance on knowing what to do with it, I highly recommend, because you're able to capture like moments that will live with you forever. So I'll be at the beginning of the parade. I'm so excited. And like, I love that 2017 parade. I'm just so excited for like the vibes of what this parade is going to bring and the energy that this parade is going to bring. And, we were talking about before we started recording Top Bins today. Chris Long had a current Eagle reach out about his fur coat, and everyone's speculating BG is going to be the one to be wearing it, which would be
gotta be.
all-time vibes. If it's not BG, which Mark told us, Chris Long said it's somebody who's been on the team for a long time and they are not white. Who else could potentially be a dark horse to wear Chris Long's jacket?
So it's got to be someone on the D line, right? But most of them haven't been on the team for a long time. Uh, you know, I got nothing. I got nothing. I feel like it's got to be someone of the same size and stature. And I don't know if we want to technically count 2 years as a long time for Jalen Carter or 3 years as a long time for Jordan Davis. It could
Because
be
I was
one
going
of
to
them.
say, if they were white, I was going to say Reed Blankenship.
I was gonna say Reed, yeah, or like Lane Johnson. But like, it could again. Mekhi Becton's only been here a year. I could see it being him. He's got like a very similar build.
I think Mekhi Becton would rip out of that thing. He's like a monster.
Yeah, I dude. Again, I just gotta say it. I fucking love Mekhi Becton, and I'm so
Like,
happy for him.
for context, Mekhi Becton is 6'7", 363.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I was completely. I've forgotten how big Chris Long was realistically, but like, man, it's gotta be.
It's got to be BG,
Yeah,
but I could also see Darius Slay.
yeah, it could
Like,
be
Slay's
Slay.
a little bit smaller than Chris Long, obviously, but
Oh, but he would rock that thing. He would rock that thing. Now, who's wearing the Mummers costume?
I don't know if I don't know if you can live up to wearing the Mummers costume. I think you got to do your own thing. It would
The
not
only
shock me if some of the guys are in the overalls.
Yeah, the only person who could live up to the Mummers costume, in my opinion, would be Jordan Mailata. That's the only
Yeah.
person.
We were talking
Or
too.
maybe
It'd be cool to see
CJGJ.
him in like Australian and like
Yeah,
Samoan like garb, which would be
yeah.
very cool.
I could also see CJGJ just going out there wearing the Mummers costume and just talking the most mad shit you've ever heard in your life. It'll be the opposite of Jason Kelsey's speech in which he was like hyping everybody up. He'll be talking down on the Chiefs while doing it. Travis
Who
Kelsey's a
is
bum. Patrick Mahomes can't throw. Xavier Worthy's too small. D Hop's washed.
your dark horse who give the drunkest speech of the parade? I think there's
Zach,
4 guys. I have 4 guys in mind that could really
I'm saying
pop off with
I'm saying
speeches.
Zach Bond, just because of the way he said, "I'm drinking water all through this week to get myself ready." That man could give a legendary drunk speech. Him or a man who went to a school that is as much known for their parties as their football team, Saquon Barkley, because that man, him shotgunning that beer was impressive.
I think Saquon will give a speech that will be remembered. I think
Yes.
BG is going to give one fucking hell of a speech.
He's gonna pop a bottle of champagne, down it, and then go, "Philadelphia, I love you. This has been the greatest ride of my life. I'm announcing my retirement today, but I want you all to know that this is my home. This is my
I
home."
think I could see Lane Johnson giving a speech as well.
He will give the one reminiscent of Jason Kelsey, I feel like.
I think the dark horse for like the memorable speech that will cement this player in Philadelphia fandom and lore, very much like it elevated Jason Kelsey to the masses. I think it's Landon Dickerson.
And I fully agree with you on that too. Like, that's another person who went to a school known for their parties, Alabama. That's a dude who can clearly put down a bunch of brews. He was walking around in the background with an IV drinking a beer. He
I
shotgunned a beer
think
on Jimmy Fallon. He's gonna
I
give a
think
legendary drunk speech.
Reed Blankenship is going to give the most incoherent drunk speech of the entire parade. And I think Jordan Mailata takes the cake and gives the most memorable
Yeah.
speech of everyone.
This is what I'm
Because Jordan Mailata is like the ultimate teammate too, where like you see it in the mic'd ups, and
yeah,
he feeds off of people doubting Jalen Hurts and this team.
yeah.
So I think Jordan Mailata is poised to catapult his social status to the masses even more than it already is.
So this is my prediction for Reed Blankenship's speech, right? Philadelphia. Coop, Coop, Coop. Hey, he's he's not a safety. He's not a safety. Look at he scored a touchdown on his birthday in the Super Bowl. Go Birds.
I also think Jalen's going to give a speech that is going to shock the world.
I had a purpose before anybody else had an opinion.
Like, I don't think he's gonna talk in riddles in his speech, which I love when he does because it
Yeah,
pisses so many people off, but he's so
he's such a
stoic with his
yeah.
delivery. I think Jalen's going to really, like, uncork himself and,
Become
like,
emotional
tear
and
down the Nick Saban school of, like, media training and
yeah,
really, like, showcase his personality on that stage.
yeah. I can see that happening. Absolutely.
Because it'll
He
be
is,
like a state of euphoria and happiness, but it will also be he's so goddamn tired.
yeah. It's gonna be him just like, hey guys, I've been awake for 5 days now, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. This is the greatest place to be right now. We're Super Bowl fucking. He's gonna uncork a we're Super Bowl fucking champions. I
Can
feel
we
it in my
also talk about how the run of episodes we are going to get from Abbott Elementary are going to feed generations?
oh god, the episode where everybody's out of school and they run into each other
At
at
the
the
parade.
parade. Um, and like one of Janid's students is just like, what are you doing? And she's just hammered out of her mind.
Jalen Hurts' appearance, or I should say, second appearance on Abbott Elementary is
As a
going
Super
to
Bowl
win.
champion.
He's going to win a Golden Globe.
Yes. He's gonna win an Emmy. Screw a Golden Globe. He's gonna win an Emmy.
Like, it's going to feed families. And the
And
episode where the entire school is reading Inner Excellence,
yes, it's
like,
gonna hit. Also, the episode of It's Always Sunny we're about to get. Oh, oh brother. It's gonna be some debauchery like we haven't seen since 2018.
yes.
Charlie's gonna find some other
Which
amazing ways.
the Eagles won the Super Bowl on Charlie's birthday.
Yeah. Oh my god.
In the show, that's Charlie's birthday,
Oh
February
my
9th.
god, you're right. So we are going to get the most legendary. We might see intellectual Charlie on this episode.
Inner Excellence, if you will.
Inner excellence Charlie. Can you imagine if we get an
Oh,
episode on Charlie's birthday where he's the smart one
I
for the
am
Super Bowl?
just the way we are going to be thriving for the next 365 plus days is it knows no bounds. It knows
Yes.
no bounds on how. Like, I've already seen people who are not Eagles fans say, "All right, can we wrap up the Super Bowl stuff?" All right, no. I will be sharing every bit of content on all of my social platforms for the next 365 plus days and even beyond then, because this Super Bowl means so goddamn much to me. And I'm over the moon, thrilled and happy, and just in a sense of like levitation that I've never experienced in my life.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. I'm
I love it. I
We're gonna
love
be
this team.
winning so well.
And I just feel so vindicated myself. Like I said earlier, like believing in Jalen Hurts this whole time, but also believing in Nick Sirianni this whole time. I feel like one of the few people from day one who believed in this guy and was not calling for him to be fired and was not on some reactionary bullshit and tried to tell all you dickheads he was not an issue. He's going to be fine. It's going to work out. And I tweeted a picture of Sirianni holding the Lombardi, and I said the quote from when he gave that ever so infamous press conference with the flowers. And I said, these are this is everything getting watered and fertilized. The flowers have been fertilized, they've been watered, the roots have grown.
Yeah.
We went from people clowning him because he bombed, air quote for people just listening on audio, an opening press conference, to Nick Sirianni cementing himself as the greatest coach in Eagles history.
Yeah. He absolutely is the greatest coach in history because you look at his winning percentage. You look at all the shit he's had to go
There
through.
is one coach who has more wins than Nick Sirianni, including the playoffs, in their first 4 years of coaching in NFL history.
God,
Is George
it's just
Seifert, I believe, is his first name, who coached the 49ers.
yeah. And he's on the list with the likes of Lombardi and Hallis and all these legends. Or not
Like
Hallis. What I'm blanking on names, but like
Belichick, Lombardi, Madden.
Madden, yeah.
Like
He is
the only coach is George Seifert, who has 3 more wins than Nick Sirianni through their first 4 years, including the playoffs in their NFL coaching careers. He's better than McVay. He's better than Dan Campbell. He's better than Green Bay's coach, who I'm blanking, Matt LaFleur. He's better than Kevin O'Connell. He's better than Kyle Shanahan, which I love that the part of my take guys brought this up. You'll get a kick out of this, and I'll be using it in my back pocket for sure.
okay.
Harrison, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is Patrick Mahomes a Kyle Shanahan merchant?
He might be. He might
His
be.
2 Super Bowl wins of the 3 are against Kyle Shanahan.
And the only 2 he really played better than the opposing team in.
Is he a Kyle Shanahan merchant?
I would say so.
Which I love that too, because everyone like uplifts Kyle Shanahan to be this amazing, great coach. He fucking sucks, guys. He can't win on the big stage. He is a horrible big game coach.
Yep. And what does Nick Sirianni do in his second big game? He takes home the dub.
As soon as I saw he didn't cry during the national anthem, I knew we were winning.
Oh yeah, he was locked in this year.
Like his eyes were watering, but no tear fell. And then I saw a tear fall from Chris Jones's eyes. I was like, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
I also love my mom saying, because Chris Jones went and sought out Orange Man and shook his hand and everything. My mom said, everything he touches dies.
Yep. Everything he touches dies. And man, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I am so ready for this parade. I can't wait to watch it and watch all the speeches and just watch the boys celebrate their much deserved victory.
I'm so juiced up. We will continue talking more Super Bowl and the parade and everything for weeks to come. Because guess what? Yeah, the Eagles have free agents and everything coming up. I don't give a fuck about that right now.
Yeah.
I don't give a flying fuck about anything anywhere remotely close to thinking about next year.
That's
I
a
am
huge.
in the moment right now.
That is a
Also,
next week issue.
side note, how fucking awesome was it that Abdul Carter had a custom-made Eagles Super Bowl hoodie with his number and name, and then posed with Jalen Carter with the Lombardi?
That man is an Eagle, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
He wants to be caught on video with a gas mask like Laramie Tunsil so bad right now.
He's like, he's like sending videos out to every single reporter, like, "Hey, don't let anybody know."
Do you
I
know how
sent you
insane
this."
it would be if he pulled an Eli Manning and was like, "I'm not playing there"?
Yeah, he could pull an Eli. No, let's not call it an Eli Manning, since it's a Philadelphia team. Let's call it a Eric Lindros. He's gonna pull a Lindros and say, "I ain't playing for anybody but the Philadelphia Eagles. You can draft
Yes.
me. I ain't signing a contract with y'all bozos."
Could you imagine? I don't think we're talking about that enough. Like, Abdul Carter's gonna be a top 5 pick for
Yeah.
sure, and I'm so happy for him. Like, he's a fucking
He deserves
dog.
it. He deserves it.
I would love to have Abdul on the show too. Abdul Carter, come on the pod. I don't care what team you play for. Just we
You're
would
gonna
love to
be
have you on the show. Come on the
You're
show
gonna be
pre-draft. Like, we'd love to follow along your draft journey. You're the fucking man. I love you. I'm not even like a college football guy, and I appreciate his greatness and
You're
have
so
followed
good.
along this entire season with him. Fucking love
I'm
him.
so grateful that when IU plays Penn State next year, he will not be on the defensive line coming at our quarterback.
Like, he's so cool too. And I
Yeah.
love it's rare that you see what he's doing from a college kid that's entering the draft where he's just showcasing his fandom. You don't see that from college players like
No.
ever. And the fact that he's just open and honest that he is an Eagles fan. He was live tweeting the Super Bowl. He was all about everything going on with the Eagles. I love that. And I hope that
Yes.
becomes the norm with NFL draft prospects. Like,
Let
who
him
gives
know.
a shit? Who gives a shit where you're going to end up? You're always going to be a fan. I think one of my favorite things, and I can't wait to have him on the pod again, our guy, Jameel Demby, OG Underground athlete. One of my favorite draft day stories. We covered him getting drafted. We did his first interview after he got drafted by the Rams. One of my favorite things was when he walked into his draft party. He saw me, hit me with a shh, and he had 2 pairs of sweatpants on and slightly lowered the one pair to showcase that he had Eagle sweatpants on underneath his first pair of sweatpants.
Hell yeah. That's
Like,
awesome.
that's the cool shit, and I hope more players continue to do that. But we will talk more parade, more Eagles, more about this game, more about the halftime show that just continues to unfold, and it's just awesome. I fucking love Kendrick Lamar. On episodes to come. So make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on every platform. Follow us. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow and helps more people find our entire catalog of podcasts. We also have an onboarding form in our description of the podcast. We are looking to add to our team in a multitude of ways. It's been open for a while now, but if you're interested in potentially joining Underground Sports Philadelphia, that onboarding form is in the description of the pod. Looking for some certain aspects of things to add to our company. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. You can also leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. We'll play them on the episodes as they roll out, but leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. And this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process. And their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 716 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, where everybody, we're still champs. We're still champs.
We're still champs.
For Harrison, I'm KB. Everybody have a great time at the parade. Be safe. Be smart. Hope to see you. If you see us out and about, whether it's me, Christian, Casey, Owen, whoever it may be, come say hello. We'd love to interact with you guys. We'll be at the parade, taking it all in and enjoying being champs. So if you're at the parade, come say what's up. Let us know where you're going to be. And if we're in that area, we'll definitely try to link up with you. But be safe, be smart, and have fun. That's all that matters.
Go
Have
Birds.
safe, smart, calculated fun. Go Birds. And I'm hearing rumblings, Harrison, that potentially next week, the return of the ever so infamous and famous at the same time, Delco Danny, to the podcast to discuss his thoughts on Super Bowl 59 and being a champion for the first time in his illustrious existence. So stay tuned for that.
Wednesday episode. Please don't.
But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here, and we are signing off. Go Birds! Peace.